My name is Noman, and I will be walking you through today's presentation, which is about the world of CTFs. I am really glad to have you all here, and I hope that you enjoy this as much as I enjoy presenting it. I hope my screen and my voice is visible to everyone. If not, please let me know in the chat. So, let's break the ice a little. I am a security researcher by day and a gamer by night. I enjoy working on AI agents, Active Directory, and cloud orchestration. Outside the cyberspace, I spend my free time playing Minecraft, Elden Ring, and Resident Evil. I hold a few certifications which I have picked up along my engineering. And currently, right now, I'm working as a CTF developer at OWASP Security, which is what brings us all here today. Before we start, let's take a step back and a quick bird's eye view of what we are going to cover today. We're going to start by finding out the why in cybersecurity. Why does it even matter? Then we will dive into demystifying the hacker skill set. What makes them dangerous? And what do they have which we do not? Then we will look at what's actually in it for you. We will go hands-on and look at how real challenges were in the past events, which are very adrenaline inducing and exciting. This will be a very practical demonstration, so we won't have any deaths by PowerPoint. I'll introduce you to our platform which we are building, Gamified, and then we can conclude the meeting. We are looking at roughly 30 to 45 minutes of your time. I know it's a weekend and you all want to take the rest of the day and enjoy it for yourselves. So without further ado, let's straight get into it. Before we begin, a quick call out. If you are looking for a technical deep dive which dives into the source code and programming part, my senior colleague Srideep has done a technical deep dive last month. We will share this link with you in the WhatsApp group, which I think you should put this on your watch list after this webinar. As we go further, I want you to feel comfortable and well informed throughout the session. I cannot stress this enough. Please take notes, even rough ones, in a notepad or just type it out on your phone. You will thank yourself later when you want to revisit something. And once again, we will share all the relevant content and links in the WhatsApp group so you won't be left hanging, if any case you cannot take notes. Also, feel free to turn on the closed captions in the Google Meet down below, which makes subtitles appear if in any case my voice is not recognizable easy. I want you to take a look at this equation and note it down, place it at the back of your mind. Do not overthink it right now. We will come back to it by the end and I will look at your responses. I want you to find out what is multiplied by 4,000 and incremented by something equals 65k. I need you to find out the values of these two placeholders. Now, the why in cybersecurity. There's a fact which you have to acknowledge, that every 40 seconds a company gets attacked. There are millions of companies out there and millions of attackers. So let that sink in. This isn't just a concern for companies, it affects every person. Whether you are writing code, you're building a product, or you're running a business, or you're just simply browsing the internet and viewing this webinar. Security is your own responsibility. And you don't have to be a hacker, but you do need to understand how they think, how the hackers think, which will allow you to stay one step ahead of them. Now, Let's demystify what a hacker has. What do they have which we don't? So it comes down to this equation as defined by EC Council. They have methodology, motivation, and a vulnerability. If any one of these factors equals to 0, the whole equation comes out as 0. No attack happens if there is no vulnerability. Even the most motivated and skilled attacker cannot do anything if there is no methodology. They simply would not know where to look and where to strike. This equation is powerful because it tells us exactly how to stimulate our mind and where to poke around stuff. You don't need a fancy degree or any certification to master this because you have this thing called CTFs. CTFs, or capture the flag competitions, are essentially designed around this equation. Every challenge you solve teaches you something about an attack type, a different methodology, a different way how a system can be exploited. You're not just reading about vulnerabilities, you're actively finding them and exploiting them and understanding why they exist in the first place. CTF is how you build that muscle. They are safe, legal, and structured environments where failure is just part of the learning. And every flag you capture is a proof that you are getting better than yesterday. Now this is where it gets exciting, because CTFs tend to every audience. There is not just one size that fits all. If you love detective work and digging through information, OSINT and forensics are for you. And this also happens to be the most beginner friendly category because you don't need to even know how to code or computers. You just need a very keen mind and just Google. If you're into mathematics and programming stuff, you will love cryptography. And web category is which overlaps with bug bounty and is also the most widely played. The skills you learn here can be applied to real world attacks, and you can secure real organizations with this skill set. Reversing is for those who want to break systems, pull apart compiled code and to understand what the source code entails. And mobile challenges are focusing on Android and iOS apps. You have to find out hard-coded secrets, bypassing authentication, static analysis, and dynamic analysis. And post 2019, we have something called AI hacking, which you might know as prompt injection, which you make the AI do stuff that it was not designed to do. And bootroot, the old and the first type of CTFs to ever exist. You might know this from TryHackMe, HackTheBox, and VulnHub, now which is replaced by OffSec's Proving Grounds. But no matter where you're coming from, you get the idea. Whether you're a student, whether you're an analyst, whether you're a web designer, if you're just curious, there is a category that speaks only to you. Now, where can you go about finding these challenges? Like I said earlier, I'm not going to visit each of these platforms because, like I said, it was already covered in last month's webinar, which we will be happy to provide you the link, and I suggest you that go and visit it after this webinar. So just to summarize, CTF Time is your go-to directory for upcoming and past events. It is a register that holds every CTF information. And TryHackMe is the one growing in popularity. You already know HackTheBox and Pentester Lab. So aside from these predominant platforms, there is an upcoming one called Gamified, which we will dive in later. All of these are worth bookmarking in your Chrome or whatever browser you use. We will dive into them later. So now let's finally get into practical stuff. I have pulled together 6 challenges from the past real events. These are beginner friendly, and I want you to actually think about them as we go through them. they are perfect examples on how CTFs bridge the gap between learning and enjoyment. So the first one, so before I dive in, let me switch to a new workspace, and I will pull up my terminal, clear the screen, and first things first, for a good OPSEC, I'm going to start a new TMUX session. Let's call this the world of CTFs. Yeah. The first challenge, OSINT. This is from Searchlight CTF from ProHackMe. You can find it on task 7. Don't worry about searching it right now. We will share you the link later. So this is about OSINT, or you can also refer it as IMINT, Image Intelligence. At first glance, this seems impossible. The question is, you have to find out the name of the person who took this image. You don't know where it was taken. You don't have any clear information on the screen. But you're supposed to find out who took this image. Like, it could be anyone from 8 billion people. That is the task, but it is very interesting to find out how we can actually uncover this. This is why I said it is the work for detectives, and you don't need to know complex code and programming to solve it. So let me open, like I said, we will share you all the links. Let me open up my file manager, and this is a folder directory which we will share with you. In the OSINT, we have this challenge file. So first let me open up Google and visit images.google.com, and I will just do a simple reverse image search on this. And note this, that the AI overview did not used to exist when this challenge was created. It helps you by simplifying the process. Like, it already says the name of the structure, and it is located in Oslo, Norway. So you already have pinpointed the location of the sculpture. You also know the name of the sculpture. So you see, just a moment ago, this was just a random image. But now you know the name of this thing and where it is located. That's the power of simply Googling things. It's one of the primary knowledge in OSINT. So it still doesn't tell us who took this image, because the task is to find out the name of the person who took it. So how do we go about doing that? So now that I know it's from Oslo, I need to search some things like travel places in Oslo, or how about travel guide Oslo. Now you're supposed to go through each and every link, but since it's a scripted webinar, you are supposed to follow the first link that you come across. Visit Oslo. Let me accept it, and before I click on every other thing, we can do this like outdoor sculptures in Oslo. Now you would come across this website again. This is part of the OSINT research, which I'm not diving deep into the methodology, but I'm showing you how it's done. So after this webinar, I want you to look up OSINT challenges and how to build a methodology, because this is not a course, it's just a webinar. So I'm just cutting the chase and diving in right again. So in this website, we have something called Activate Map. Okay, we have the map of Oslo, and it seems that every other link is every other point is a link to an existing monument, like you can see. So our reindeer, Rudolph, could be from any one of them, but now look at the magic of this thing. We have pinpointed the geographical location of this image by simply Googling it. Now I can check each and every one of these, but I know that it's somewhere around here, or maybe here. or I can just Google it. Oh, maybe, okay. We have to find out each and every one from here, or I can just search Rudolph. Okay, no, it's not here. Let me check this again. Yeah, it's here. Rudolph the Chrome-Nosed Reindeer. And now you can see it's a photo by this person. I'm not going to pronounce his name, but that's the final flag. That's the name of the person who took this image. So you see how we navigated around a random image and landed into his name. The person took this image. That's the power of OSINT. Now let us go into another challenge, forensics one. The only clue you have here is zoom in. Like, that's all it says. You have to zoom in. So again, I will provide you the link to this image. It was around Isomni Hack CTF during 2015, and it's rated as an easy forensics challenge. It says that there is a hidden data inside this image that you cannot see at normal resolution. You have to zoom in. So I will open up my file manager once again. Here is the directory, and I have located this here. Yeah. So let's open this image and look at it. It appears to be a man holding glasses, but like the challenge says to zoom in, let's try zooming in and find out if something sticks out of the ordinary. Now, you might find something that there's something hidden in his eyes, in both of his eyes. He's looking at the laptop screen, but we have to find out what he's looking at. So we can solve this challenge by using the terminal. Let me go into the directory, do ls. Here is the steganography folder. Okay, so here is the file. I can just run the command file, zoom in to find out some information. It says it's a JPEG image. It is big endian, it has the resolution, X and Y, baseline position. You get the idea, you get the resolution. But I need to find out more information like metadata. So I can use this tool called EXIF tool and give it the file name of this. So what does it say? It says that, yeah, it says something, but the most important thing here is the last line. I hope my screen is visible. There's no issues here. So the thumbnail image, it says binary data, 47 kilobytes, and to extract it, we can use the -b option. So let's see how we can do that. Let's run EXIF tool once again, but like it said earlier, let's do -b for binary data and extract thumbnail image. Again, this specific command is returned to you if you read the manual page. And like I said, it's not a tutorial, it's a webinar, so I'm just cutting to the chase. And let's run this. Let's output this to output.jpg. So what happened now? Okay, so we have another image. And I'm very confident this is the image he was looking at inside his eyes. But it's still very blurry, and you cannot make more sense of this. But what if you could run the same command again? Let's run. Let me do ls, file, output.jpg. Yeah. Again, the same information, the density, the resolution, etc. So I can just do EXIF tool again. Zoom in, extract the binary data again. No, not with this file, but with output image, which we extracted earlier. -b, thumbnail image, and let's output this to hopefully a final flag.jpg. If we check, we have another final image inside this image, but it's still not intelligible. I cannot read it. But if I inspect it, I think it's mirrored. The image is mirrored. It's left to right shifted. So how can I reverse it? You are supposed to Google this information, but you will come across this link, how to mirror images via command line. So we get the answer that we have to use convert command minus flop input.image and output.image. Let's run this command. Let's run convert minus flop, which we supposed was the final flag, but it was not. So let's use the file name and output it as, let me check the command once again just to be sure. Yeah, there is no, I thought there was a flag -0, but there is no, it doesn't exist. So let's just enter the final flag file, flag.jpg. This command is deprecated, but we can ignore this error. Now once we open the file, you get the final flag, INS magnification on x100 for starters. And we captured the flag finally. See how easy that was. We just had to Google things. Let me just be sure that you are able to see my screen. Yeah. So we can dive into another challenge. This one is from Try Hack Me Again. It's called Corridor CTF. And the task is just to open the secret door. So once again, before, just let me run an OpenVPN to connect to their network. There is a VPN file. Let me run sudo OpenVPN. Yeah. Providing the password. And renaming this pane as VPN. Wait. Let's call this window OpenVPN. Yeah. Let me open another window. Okay. So now we are supposed to visit the challenge link, which I will again provide you. Okay, I am supposed to log in. Okay, just let me log in. I'm going to stop my screen share just for a moment. I will log in. Yeah, I'm online. Yeah, just let me know in the chat if you can hear me all right and my screen is visible again. So let me join this room. Okay, I'm already in the room. Let me spin up this machine. It takes some time to boot up. We have to wait for a minute. So in the meantime, let's look at the challenge again. We have to open the secret door, and we have a room, a hallway full of secret doors. And we have to open the secret one. So let's give it some time to open up. Let's wait for 40 seconds. Okay, so I think it's online now and we can try visiting this. And yeah, the challenge is visible. Now it seems like it's just an image. I cannot click on the sides, but if you notice, if I hover my mouse over one of the windows or the doors, you can see on the bottom left corner, you can see there's a link. If I open this, okay, there's an empty room here. So I can, like always, like the happy path, I have to try every endpoint of this application. Let me open up one of these, each and every one of these doors one by one. So I've already checked the middle one, so I'm not going to do that. Once again, opening all the doors. Yeah. So you get the idea. Each and every one of these rooms has an empty corridor. But the thing is, if you can observe the URL, it changes for every room. The key of this challenge is to find out the meaning behind this random data. So it's safe to say that I can close few of these rooms just to make sure I have enough RAM to present this meeting. I will just open 2 of these, and it seems to me that this is an MD5 value. So let me open up my terminal and run hash identifier. Do I have it? Okay, I don't have it. Okay, but we can just check on the website. I have this website pinned, which again I will show you the link. I can just paste the decryptor value and decrypt it. It shows me that it's the value of 2. Okay. Let me try this one. Okay, the value is 10. So what I'm assuming right now is that these rooms are numbered from 1, 2, 3, 4 all the way to the end. So these rooms are all numbered, and the value you see are just the plain English letter, but it's encoded in MD5, Message Digest 5. So we can try visiting values more than this. We can try visiting door number 50, door number 60, door number 70. But the very first thing that you should think as an attacker is you should notice that there is no room called 0. So what if I try to brute force this value? Let's go to encrypt the value of 0, copy this hash, which translates to the value of 0, go to this corridor and input this data. Now what happens? Check this out. We get the final flag. We were able to successfully identify the cipher or the encoding used in this web application and bypass whatever restrictions it has shown us. So that's actually called IDOR, or Insecure Direct Object Reference. It's a vulnerability in OWASP Top 10. You can read about it later, but I think you get the idea how fun and cool everything is. So we were able to open the secret door in this challenge, and as you know, it did not result in me using a lot of programming knowledge. So we can go ahead into another challenge from Hack the Box. It says find out the hidden flag. Once again, it has some resources and media which I will be sharing with you in the WhatsApp group. So the key thing is that you are given an Android backup file, and somewhere in it, inside the code, the file, its configuration, there is a backup that was never meant to be found. Your job as the CTF player or a security researcher one day would be to dig through it and find out what's hidden, which is a vulnerability that gets found in real world apps every single day. So let me switch to my terminal and access the files. So I have this mobile folder, which once again I will share each and every media with you. So there is the mobile folder. Let me go inside that. Okay, there is a file called cat.ab, and note that AB stands for Android backup file. Let me do once again, let's run the file command on it and find out what we are dealing with. It says it's an Android backup. It's Android version 5. It is compressed, but it's not encrypted. How lucky for us. It's not even encrypted. Sure. So what can we do with it? You know, I think we should try unzipping it first. Unzip cat.ab. Okay, we get an error. Signature not found. Either this file is not a zip file, which we know it's not a zip file, or it does not constitute the disk, or blah blah blah. Okay, so let me try another decrypting format called tar.xzf. So what happens? Okay, it's not in a gzip format. So it also showing me an error. So how am I even supposed to open this file? So once again, like I said, the methodology requires you to Google things once you are stuck, but I have one thing already bookmarked. This is an article from Stack Overflow which says how to extract or unpack an Android AB file. So he is sharing his concerns and whatever he has tried. But let's look at one of the first responses to it. This user is saying that according to this post on Stack Exchange, you can run a one-line command in Linux to add an appropriate tar header to extract it. So let me do the same. Let me copy this entire command, and mind you that the copy button is not working for me, so I have to copy this fully. Let me copy this, and let's paste this here. Oh, sorry, it opened another pane. Okay. I think my tmux session is erroring out, so I have to open another window. The world of CTFs, mobile. Okay. So let me paste. Yeah, it's now pasting. Okay. So we cannot run the command as it is because we know that the file is called cat.ab and not backup.ab. So let me just rename this. Now, okay, I think we have some output here, which means we were able to extract everything. So what we did was just we appended some necessary, the header which was required for the Android application to extract. So we are seeing at the file system of Android. We can ignore the child process error is not recovered. We can ignore that. So now let me open up a file manager and go into the mobile. So we have two new folders called shared and apps, and we have more folders in that. So I can just open them one by one with my mouse, but you know, as hackers, we are supposed to be using the terminal. So let me run my favorite command called Yazi. It's just a file manager inside the terminal. It gives me a cool new UI. It shows my previous directory, my current one, and its children. So we have these three files in the middle. I want you to focus on the middle part. We have these three files in the current directory. This is Android backup, and after extracting it, we get the shared file, which has something called 0 in it, and apps. So let's focus on the apps one right now. So in this, we have all these files which belongs to the Android application. And I think the user was using Lineage OS, which I think most of you are familiar with. We have these files, and you can see on the right hand side the content of it. It's just random data. You are supposed to go through each and every one of these files, but I know that the important thing is to look at the shared folder and the 0 folder in it. So in this, we have the actual user files, alarms, DCIM. You can see that there are no items, but it's not the end of the list, so let us keep going. We have downloads folder, movies, music, notifications, pictures. Okay, we have something in the pictures folder. Let me confirm if we have something in the podcast or ringtones. Nope. So let's dive into pictures. Okay. It seems that it's an image of a cat. This one as well. This another. Okay. It appears to be a man holding something. His face is redacted. Let's check another file. Another cat and another cat. So the only thing that's sticking out from the list is this picture. Let me open this image again. Now, let's look at what he's holding. Top secret. And he has some gibberish information. It's not supposed to make any sense because the actual flag is here at the bottom. HTTP. This backup is unprotected. Now, how convenient and fun was that? So that was this challenge. I hope you get the idea how fun and easy it was. Now, the final one, which we are diving into, the OWASP Juice Shop. The task is just to exploit as many bugs as we can. I think most of you are already exposed to this challenge. It's from OWASP, the Open Web Application Security Project, a vulnerable web application which they designed to teach us web security in a practical and fun way. So I'm going to demonstrate this one live, which, okay. Okay, so let me open up the Chrome browser and visit the link to this project. It's hosted on Docker. So let us follow their instructions and download this thing onto our machine. So we have to run this command to download it. Let me run this command. Yeah, we can ignore the version. We can just copy the actual image. Let me switch to my terminal. I think my tmux session will now work. Now let's rename this as Juice Shop server and go one step back and run docker pull. Okay, once again I think the paste command is not working. Okay, it's working now. So this is a command which we can use to download this onto our machine. You don't have to be on Linux, you can just run this on Windows, WSL or Mac OS. It doesn't matter. If you are nerdy enough, you can also run this on your phone via Termux. So let me download this image, and which I have already downloaded. So okay, I thought it was downloaded, but let's wait for it to complete. Just bear with me for a moment. I was sure that I downloaded it prior to this webinar, but I think there was some update or something other. Let's just wait a few seconds before it completes. Okay, so now let's check what does the web application says and how to run it. Like I said, you have to read through every link, but he has simplified it here. You have to just run docker run, that is rm, to make sure it was not running before, and bind it to a port called 3000. Okay, let me copy the entire command to save some time and paste this here. And yeah, it pasted correctly. Now, while it does this thing, I want to open up a burp suite, which is a web application proxy we are going to use to test this application. Okay, it has started listening on port 3000. I can just start it. Okay, let me switch to proxy and open up its own browser. I can use Chrome, I can use Firefox, but for this webinar I prefer to keep things minimal and just use the bundle browser that comes with Burp Suite. I can open a new browser. Okay, so we know that we have hosted the application on localhost port 3000. So let me visit this application. So here we are. Okay, let me clear the cookies. Okay, no response. Okay, so here is the web application. It simulates a bank, a juice shop. It's not a bank, but it simulates a juice shop and the payment processing. So let me guide you through the web application. We have some listing of some random stuff, apple juice, banana juice, things like that. We have merchandise, and it's not a real website, it's just a CTF. Okay, let me check what's over here in the sidebar. We have customer feedback. I guess we can send some arbitrary data as an attacker if you want to leave a feedback. Okay, we can dive into this later. And we have about us section. Let's look at this. Again, it's just not supposed to mean something. It's just random information. These are sponsor links, so we are not going to visit any of them as it falls outside the scope of this project. So let's check this. This appears to be something intelligible in the long list of unintelligible data. So it has taken me to another link, and once again it's just random data which is not supposed to mean something. But if you look at the URL, you have something called FTP and legal.md. What if I just remove this section? Okay, we have uncovered a directory listing on this application which was not supposed to be open for random people. We have some juicy data here. I think he was trying to inject some malware in its viewers. Okay, we get the idea how we are able to, trust our investigative traits and find out things we were not supposed to find out. So let me go back to the web page again and help getting started. It's supposed to be tutorial, so it's not part of the challenge, and it takes to GitHub. Okay, so let me open up one of these things. Okay, it costs $3 whatever that is, dollars, rupees, or anything. There is a review by this user. So okay, so look at this review. There is information disclosure. You are able to find out the domain name and the username. You got an email and he says 0 stars for horrible security. Okay, now another review. Okay, another user. So you're supposed to be making you're supposed to be making a list of things you uncovered this, and when findings, you're supposed to be taking notes like endpoint is localhost 3000 and found some user data. You get the idea. I'm not going to write everything in detail here. Okay, so we have some user data here. Let's check out the apple juice. So okay, I think we have uncovered the email address of admin user. So let me copy this. I don't know, it might come in handy later. Okay, we have the ability to change our language. We do not need that. We can log in and we can search something. Okay, but what if I just enter a single apostrophe? Okay, it's not erroring out like I thought it would. Anyways, let me try logging in. So now I want you to understand that this application uses MySQL, and okay, my browser is here. You're supposed to be looking at some payloads. Okay, I have been rate limit. I was supposed to be opening this. It's a cheat sheet which contains all the commands which I was going to run now, and unfortunately I did not prepare for this thing. It is blocking me here. So let me just do a simple command injection. I'm going to inject a query in this to cause a SQL injection. I will say and 1 = 1, close and comment out, give something random data as a password and log in. Okay, invalid password and 1 = 1. I think that was correct. Okay, it's invalid password. Okay. So this did not happen earlier during my testing. I don't know what's happening here. Okay, I got something in the background, but okay, I think I see the problem here. Let me go to the juice shop again, and the username I copied was not correct. Yeah, this is the correct one. Let me do and 1 equals 1. And now I was able to log in as admin, and I can see his basket as well. So how convenient is that? We actually hacked into a user and were able to manipulate his card. So we now have some more data and access to things. We have photo wall, we have some access to his sensitive data, we have about a section like we have seen before. We can lodge a complaint as we have seen before. Okay, that was a customer feedback. We have a new endpoint complaint. Yeah, you get the idea. Let's check his order history. Okay. So now let's do one thing. Let's view somebody else's card. So first, I'm going to my card and reloading this. So let's switch over to Burp Suite and open up Intercept, reload the page, and hopefully I get the request lodged here. Let me forward, and I'm looking for something that gives the hint about the wait. Okay, let me do this again. Okay. Yeah, I'm looking for an endpoint which translates to the card. Okay, assets, not important. Socket, not important. This again, not important. This one as well. This again. This again. This. Let me just cycle through. Yeah, that is the endpoint I was looking for. We are issuing a direct GET request to the application, which is literally targeting a plain text value. What if I change it to 2 and forward and turn off the intercept? You see the confetti just popped up in the background because we successfully viewed another user's shopping basket. It's not the admin's, it says it is the admin's basket, but it is not the same card that we saw earlier, because if I refresh it, the card is going to be changed. Yeah, because what you saw earlier was me viewing another user's basket. So that was another attack. So I can, actually there are plenty of multiple of vulnerabilities in this, and if I were to walk through all of them, it would take a lot of time, and it's already 5:50. So I'm not going to go through more attack vectors, which I had already memorized a lot of them. I was going to show you how to give a 0-star review. As you can see, we can give 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, but there is no option to give a leave of 0-star review. But you can trick the application into sending a 0 or maybe a negative review, like -1 star, -2 star. So that would be a lot convenient, but we are running out of time. So that's all the challenge for today. Now, what you saw just now was barely the surface. These are just few challenges out of tens of thousands or maybe millions of them across the internet, which are more mind-bending and mind-blowing than what I have been able to show you today. So you see, that's how CTFs force us to learn new things, face the unknown. You're not supposed to know everything. You just have to know how to search, how to Google things when you hit a roadblock. These things are supposed to send you off on an adventure. Yeah. So if you're looking for a place where you are gaining experience, you're having fun, and it is relevant to getting hired, I have something for you. Let me present to you Razify. Think of it as your cybersecurity playground. You show up, you play the games, you meet people who are just as obsessed with this thing as you are, and somewhere along the way, you get noticed by a hiring manager. So you just play and the right people find you. We don't just connect you with opportunities, we reward you for showing up as well. Yeah. So we have something called, we give away cash prizes to our top rankers. The first place is 10,000. It happens every 3 months, and the next cycle is on 1st May. We are giving out 10,000 for the first place, 5,000 for the second, and 3,000 for the third person who goes in the ranking. So the top performers get these cash prizes, and you can also get a chance to work with RAS Security on future research and development projects where you can earn industry experience. We already have 3,000 plus users on our platform, and a WhatsApp community of 500 plus users, which we will be sharing you the link soon. So sign up now, start playing, and put yourself in the running. The challenges you see here are, so the challenges I showed you, we have a lot more of these coming up, and we'll be rolling them out soon if you want. We already have these existing, and there are more and more of them coming out, so you won't have enough time to play through each of them. So that's how fun of a platform we are building. So I think I left you with a question. Yeah, you can read this. I'm going to switch to another slide soon. Now, coming back to the question from the beginning, I hope some of you have been able to work this out. Let me check your responses. I need to see your answers, what you have been able to come up with. Please let me know your answer to this question, guys. This question right here. Yeah, so Ravi, I think you are on the right path, but let's just see other people's responses soon. Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce your name, Zuka. You have correctly guessed the answer. See, it's very simple, but most of us did not see it immediately because we are conditioned to assume both blanks needed to be filled with something real. We were not looking for complexity. It's not required here. That's the CTF mindset. Question every assumption. The simplest path is often the right path is often the simplest one. You did not have any restrictions to solve this. You could just nuke one entry and just match right hand side to the left hand side. It was that easy, and that's the mindset you need to solve CTFs. It's simple as that. This thinking also applies beyond hacking. So let's say each and every day of a year, 365 days a year, you do one exact thing. If you do this math, if you raise each day with the power of one simple task, you would have only completed one task each year. But what if you could increase each day by 1%? 1% today, increase it by 2% tomorrow. You get the idea. Increment your production, your performance with 1% today, each day. So what do you get? One challenge a week, new concept every few days. You get this value by just a simple 1% of growth each and every day. After a year, you would have close to 38 amount of things done, as opposed to just having completed one thing each and every year. So you see how powerful the equation is. It applies to real life as well. It's not just mathematics and just numbers. At the end of the year, you are nearly 38 times better than the person you were last year. So the people you see on the internet who are successful, who have achieved everything, they didn't just start like that. They simply started bit by bit. Do not underestimate the power of small habits. And because a year from now, if you are consistent, the math will speak for you. Yeah. So that's a wrap up from me. I hope this event gave you a new perspective on what CTFs are, why they matter, and I hope we will connect later after this meeting. I will see you at the Radify platform. Let's keep this thing going, and hopefully I will see you sometime in the future at the event or on the platform. So here is my link tree. If you can scan this or just visit this link, you get access to my socials like Discord, LinkedIn, and others. Or if some people have reported me that Linktree does not work on their home internet, so you have to switch to mobile data, or simply you can just Google my exact name on LinkedIn and that would be enough. So once again, thank you for joining. That's it from me. If you have any questions or anything, feel free to drop them in the chat or just connect with me later. So that's all from me, and I hope you have the great rest of the week. Yeah, I guess we can stop this meeting now.